Perfectly personalised ice cream? Turn almost anything into ice cream with the Ninja Creamy. Transform simple ingredients to match your taste, diet, imagination and more. Create your own flavour with the Ninja Creamy.
Vaping addiction can creep up on you, and it can be hard to resist its pull. Vaping, are you really choosing anymore? Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
This is 7 News, the voice of the coast.
Tonight, a mother still searching for answers 4 years on. A call to freeze alcohol tax to ease pressure on pubs and patrons.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, a teenage driver allegedly caught drunk behind the wheel following a police chase. And supermarkets dragged to court accused of ripping us off.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. A coronial inquest into the death of a Northern Rivers woman has now begun in Lismore. Elizabeth Britton was found with traumatic injuries to her head 2 weeks before she died. Elise Holden was in Lismore local court today and she joins us live now.
Nick, a brief of evidence was given in court outlining Miss Britton's injuries. The court heard her mother, Valerie Britton, tried to contact her several hours before she was found sitting on her stairwell, dazed, just after 6 p.m. on October 10. Miss Britton was taken to Tweed Heads Hospital with fractures to her skull and bleeding on the brain. 2 persons of interest have been identified, including Miss Britton's former partner, Anthony Siganto. The court heard when asked if he had hurt her, Miss Britton allegedly responded with a nod. The inquest will run all week. The Deputy State Coroner says if someone is responsible, criminal proceedings could follow. Nick?
Okay, Elise, thanks for the update. The price of a schooner could soon come down if a proposal by the Nationals gets support. They've joined publicans in calling for a freeze on future tax hikes as the cost of beer continues to soar.
Instead of creating a fertile ground for investment, the Australian government is being accused of driving down profitability.
3 pub towns are already 2 pub towns, and if this continues, then we won't be able to make a dollar, we won't be able to pay the bank.
Alcohol an easy target for rising taxes even during a cost of living crisis. The price of drowning a cold one after work now considered beyond reach for some.
It might be an apprentice who's 19-year-old and he's paying over $10 for a beer. It's just not sustainable.
Last year alone, the excise on beer rose by 11%, which means 60% of a full-strength beer is now comprised of tax. And that's cheap compared to a bottle of bourbon or gin.
67% for a bottle of spirits is going directly to the government.
The unrelenting price hikes crushing the hospitality trade in pubs and clubs, jeopardising hundreds of thousands of jobs.
Put the food on the table for their families by working in these industries. The excise twice a year is unsustainable.
Also threatening the future of sporting club sponsorship.
We plough as much as we can into the groups and organisations that come and spend money in our venues.
Though the pause in taxing alcohol is backed by the Nationals, neither Labor or Liberal have expressed support, despite good intentions in the shadow ministry.
And in fact, Anthony Albanese, as I understand it, moved his own private members' bill to pause excise when he was in opposition. So this should be a bipartisan approach.
This Penny, 7 News.
Well, nurses up and down the coast and around the state will strike for 24 hours tomorrow in their fight for better pay. The strikes have already caused some disruptions, with patients booked in for surgery now needing to reschedule. Health Minister Ryan Park's offer of a 3% pay increase not to strike, that's backdated to July, has been rejected by the union. Patients with non-life-threatening conditions are being encouraged to phone ahead to avoid long wait times at hospitals. A proposed change to rental laws will give tenants and their pets a fairer go. But real estate agents say without more housing options, people will continue to struggle.
The pressure of renting is no secret. Increases in costs, evictions, and the lack of accommodation accepting pets, all adding to the burdens faced by tenants. But the New South Wales government is looking to provide relief.
Fairer rental rules, clearer rental rules helps renters and landlords to ensure that we can continue to grow the community.
As part of a rental laws package, landlords will be expected to allow reasonable pet requests and offer fee-free methods of paying rent.
What it will do is create a level playing field.
The New South Wales Animal Welfare League agree it's time these changes were rolled out. In Foster, they're rescuing up to 5 surrenders a week, all relating to rental conditions.
Our inquiries have increased a lot over the last probably 12 months.
Around a third of New South Wales residents live in rentals. While many agencies already work to these standards, they agree it's an important step to legislate. But they say without more effort to increase housing, these schemes will continue to fall flat.
We have a limited supply of property, which is hard because we'd like to put more people in reasonably cost housing.
These new reforms will be introduced to Parliament next month. Hannah Hartup, 7 News.
More flood-free land has now opened up in Ginelabar following the construction of a new sewage treatment plant. 600 homes are expected to be built with the opportunity for flood victims to relocate their bought-back homes.
4 kilometres of pipeline and a pump station stretched across Pineapple Road in Ginelabar.
So much potential with this whole ridge line.
The beginning of a new housing development.
We're ready to go. People can come to us with their development applications to say that they want to start building.
Flood-free land for those looking to relocate from the floodplain or build new.
If people are in a position after a buyback or the like, then every opportunity to be able to relocate up here.
600 dwellings will be built here in Ginelabar. In addition to 4 other locations in Lismore, it's expected to free up housing in the area and reduce homelessness.
Sadly, it's a nationwide problem, and you know we see the federal and the state politicians going at each other. All we can do as a council is provide the infrastructure for the developers to release blocks of land.
But it could take up to 2 years to build.
You know, the 18 months to 2 years before our sewage treatment plant is finished, which is about the same time that hopefully the first houses are built up on the Pineapple Road Ridge.
More rural land is expected to be released soon as part of the Resilient Lands program. Elise Holden, 7 News.
A fisherman has had a very lucky escape after his boat was struck by a whale north of Port Macquarie. Marine rescue had to be called in, with the man very luckily unharmed, but it is triggering a warning.
A fisherman rescued his boat towed back to shore. This is the damage caused when a whale collided with a fisherman on the mid-north coast.
A 70-year-old fisherman out off Grassy Head. He was out there fishing, having a good time when he collided with a whale. Just come up out of the blue, he said. He didn't see it coming, nothing.
Marine rescue arrived within an hour. Luckily, the fisherman was shocked but unharmed. The whale inflicting substantial damage on his vessel.
Serious damage to the bow of his boat, which compromised his ability to stay afloat in the instance, and also stopped his engines from operating.
More than 40,000 whales are expected to pass the east coast of Australia this season. Just over a month ago, another shocking collision. A man was struck by the tail of a whale, causing very serious head injuries. Now, a warning for boaties has been issued.
It just heeds the advice to all boaters. You need to keep a good lookout all the time. We're not the only ones out there.
It's certainly not unheard of, so yeah, boaties do need to be aware. There's obviously a large number of whales migrating up and down our coast.
Authorities are also reminding boaties of approach restrictions when you see a whale. 100 metres for an adult whale with a 300-metre slow approach zone. The approach zone even larger for mothers and calves.
If there's a calf present, 300 metres is the minimum approach distance.
Samantha Crowe, 7 News.
Well, they are some beautiful pictures. Well, Kirsty joins us now for a look at today's weather conditions right up the coast. And Kirsty, what a gorgeous start to our working week.
Yes, it certainly was, Nick. Hello to you and good evening, everyone. If we start with our satellite picture, we can see mostly clear and settled skies right across northern New South Wales and along our coastline, though we did wake to a little fog this morning. Minimums for most of us sat between about 5 and 10 degrees under mostly clear skies, but temperatures climbed under the influence of a high pressure system, reaching the mid to high 20s in the west with mild north and northeasterly winds too. Top temperatures of 24 degrees for Ballina today, 25 in Byron Bay and in Yamba, but maximums are set to increase a little tomorrow. They'll remain warm certainly through the first half of this week before they fall later on in the week. Rain forecast too. I'll have a look at what's in store a little after sport, Nick.
Quite a lot happening as always, Kirsty. Thank you. Well, up next in 7 News, new drowning data release the message every parent needs to hear and the changes that could make a trip to the club worth it.
And a little later on this news hour, allegations of misleading discounts land Coles and Woolies in court. An alleged drunk, suspended teen driver charged over a police chase. And new polls show Kamala Harris leading Donald Trump. The ex-president makes a call on his political future.
A safe drinking program that began in Albury.
Perfectly personalised ice cream? Turn almost anything into ice cream with the Ninja Creamy. Transform simple ingredients to match your taste, diet, imagination and more. Create your own flavour with the Ninja Creamy.
Take it up. New Link's Fine Fragrance Collection. Out now. Impress.
Experience all the beauty where there's adventure at every turn.
Showcasing all Sydney has to offer.
You'll be champing at the bit for the best view in town, giving you more bang for your buck.
What a combination.
It's all here on Sydney Weekender.
You gotta love it.
Sunday 5:30, then 7 News.
Is about to make its way to schools right across our state. The Pause Play program aims to educate people who are under the age of 18 about proper behaviour in licensed venues before they enter the clubbing scene. The program covers a range of topics from avoiding confrontation to recognising the dangers of drink spiking.
It's like the old count to 10 before you do anything, and then think it through and think of the consequences, what could happen. And look, to us, if we can stop one kid getting king hit on the dance floor or one assault with a food, then we're happy.
The New South Wales Government will begin rolling out the program later this month. Heading to the club to have a beer and a meal is hopefully about to get much easier. The state government is proposing an end to the 5 kilometre rule that prevents locals from visiting without a membership.
It's the rule that's locked out thousands of patrons. If you live within 5 kilometres of a club, you can't dine or drink unless you're a member. But now the New South Wales government are looking to make a change.
Locals couldn't come in if they were in that 5 kilometres, but gives them the chance now to try before they buy, sort of thing.
The proposed law is part of the second round of the vibrancy reforms, which will also see the elimination of rules against standing while drinking. While clubs welcome the suggested changes, they say they'll have to create incentives to attract members.
We'd probably have to have a look at how we discount our prices to members and non-members.
The vibrancy reforms were first introduced in December 2023, aiming to boost nightlife.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, really, because the clubs actually are struggling at the moment, and we need all these new ideas coming in to help, the clubs out themselves.
The final changes of the Round 1 rollout started on July 1st of this year. They included changes to disturbance complaints and extended trading hours for live music.
It has opened up the opportunity for us to potentially have midweek gigs, which might allow us to hopefully attract bigger artists to the area.
The second round of laws will be tabled in Parliament next month. Hannah Hartup, 7 News.
New data reveals 40% of drownings last year were sadly children. Now, Kids Alive is urging parents to take up their free swim program, with experts saying education is the best way to prevent a death.
As temperatures rise heading into summer months, sadly, so do drownings.
Last year we lost 15 little kids under the age of 5. 40% of those drowned in backyard swimming pools.
Kids Alive Swim into Summer program runs statewide, allowing swim schools to offer free lessons and water safety events for families with children under 5.
If kids are having swimming lessons, they're less likely to wander into life-threatening situations.
The program also provides 5 free online lessons using video tutorials to cover the basics of learning to swim, like water familiarization, breath control, submersion, and floating.
That way they learn respect for the water and they're less likely to wander into life-threatening situations.
Program starts today with more information about participating swim schools available on the Kids Alive website.
Supervision and swimming lessons are the most important thing that parents and grandparents can do for their kids.
Sophie McManus, 7 News.
Up next in sport, the region's best futsal players hit the courts in Coffs, and Macleay Valley Mustangs eyed their first premiership in 5 years. Welcome back. The Macleay Valley Mustangs have secured a spot in this weekend's Group 3 Rugby League Grand Final. It's their first shot at the major premiership in half a decade.
A finals victory for the Macleay Valley Mustangs and a shot at the major premiership when they come up against the Port Macquarie Sharks this weekend in the grand final.
Really excited. It's our first grand final, I think, in 5 years now. So, yeah, really exciting for the community and also the players involved. So, yeah, quick turnaround and really looking forward to Saturday's game.
The Mustangs defeated Old Bar 24 points to 16. They'll head into this weekend's main event with a full-strength side, but without a break. The Sharks had last weekend off.
I think it's actually an advantage. I think, playing week to week for us is an advantage, and we didn't pick up any major injuries. Obviously, some battle scars coming up against a physical team like Old Bar, but I think it's battle hardened us playing these week in, week out.
The Sharks defeated the Mustangs in the semi-final, but Coach Bo Champion says this weekend the Macleay Valley is ready to step it up.
We were very disappointing in the semi-final against the Sharks, and they deserved to win. But I think we'll learn a lot from that game, and we'll take a different mentality towards the game. And as I said, a lot of learnings out of that game.
The Mustangs going into the clash with confidence after defeating Old Bar, last year's grand final winners and one of the competition's toughest sides.
It sure does, yeah. Look, I have a really talented team and a team that works really hard, and we're very united. So we know what we're up against this week against the Sharks, but we're going there extremely confident that we can come away with a victory.
Samantha Crowe, 7 News.
Well, defending champions Coffs High dominated the early rounds of the Futsal Regional Championships today. They did progress to the final in 3 out of the 4 divisions in the one-day knockout.
Fresh from a 24-0 first-round win in the under-16s, Coffs Harbour High School was brimming with confidence, dominating possession over Grafton in blue but failing to find the back of the net. Superior defensive play from Grafton locking down the score at 0-0 heading into half-time. Coffs High shifting gears after the bell to draw Grafton out from in front of goal.
So once we were able to bring that out, we opened more space up for ourselves around the goal. And then we were able to come through with that 1v1 ability that a lot of our boys have.
The game opening up, Coffs High firing off a series of rapid-fire goals to take the lead. Grafton High giving chase, booting the ball through the goalie's legs. Stacked with representative players, Coffs High ultimately going through 7-3, setting them up for their second straight grand final win in the under-16s.
Yeah, a lot of them have got a really good technical ability, just an ability to move the ball, and a lot of them play together locally as well.
In the girls, Aurora High School maintained the pressure in the under-14s round 2 clash with Dorrigo in green and gold, taking control in front of goal to take the lead. Aurora going through to the final rounds in a hard and fast clash.
Futsal is a great control and movement game, so when you see that transferred onto the soccer field, it really develops their skills.
Coffs High, Aurora and Bellingen through to the North Coast Futsal Final at Coffs Harbour's Sports Central this November. Liz Penny, 7 News.
Organisers are celebrating a successful Rainbow Gold event. More than 90 athletes took to the waves at Rainbow Beach on Saturday, competing in a number of categories, including an enduro event, and that consists of both ski, board, swim and run legs, as well as 1 and 2 kilometre swims. Now, the event started 5 years ago when the Coolangatta Gold was cancelled during COVID, and it's grown bigger and better every year since. In total, 8 winners were crowned on the day. Well, there is some rain on the way. Up next, Kirsty will tell you how much and where it's going to land.
Welcome back, everyone. The main weather feature this week is a large rain band moving across west.
Perfectly personalised ice cream? Turn almost anything into ice cream with the Ninja Creamy. Transform simple ingredients to match your taste, diet, imagination and more. Create your own flavour with the Ninja Creamy.
Beautiful fish, yes. Now give me finer than the finest fragrances and their exotic accents. Black vanilla. Take it up. Aqua Vermont. Now give me endless abs. Oh yeah, there we're talking. Majestic animals. Blue lavender. Fine. Finer than the finest fragrances. New Lynx Fine Fragrance Collection. Out now. Success.
You win some, you lose more.
Western parts of the country, which will extend towards the east this afternoon. At the same time, a cold front is also heading east, dragging moisture into the state on Wednesday and Thursday, causing temperatures to fall. Now, widespread rainfall is likely not only across the nation, but across New South Wales, becoming heaviest through our central and eastern districts. Around 40 to 60 millimetres could fall this week through the north coast, heaviest around parts of the mid-coast. Around the region tomorrow, before that wet weather hits, we're expecting a warm day with mild northeasterly winds. Foster and Port Macquarie heading for tops of 26 degrees, which is about 3 degrees above the September average. Partly cloudy conditions throughout the day. Grafton heading for 29, Evans Head and Casino 28 degrees. On the waters, northerly winds for most of the coast sitting at around 25 knots. Seas up to about 2 metres, and we can expect our swells sitting around 3 to 5 feet. On to Wednesday, another sunny, settled day with warmer conditions conditions, some of us even reaching the 30s through parts of the mid-north coast, even warmer than our summer averages. Wauchope at 31, Casino at 28 degrees, accompanied by mild north to northeasterly winds. They're likely to become strong along the coastal fringe in the far north. Coffs Harbour 27, Tweed Heads and Yambar tops of 26. But it's Thursday when we'll likely see wet weather and cooler temperatures. A frontal system crossing into our region will drop temperatures by about 7 to 8 degrees, and we're also expecting quite a cool wind change. As little as 5 millimetres but as much as 15 millimetres could fall, heaviest around the mid-north coast, and we can expect some lighter falls around about the northern rivers. Temperatures still mild as we head further north. To Thursday's wet weather, though, is likely to track into Friday and into Saturday, with showers persisting into next week. A nice couple of days, fairly settled weather, becoming very warm into the 30s for Wednesday, before we see some wet weather arriving from Thursday night.
Oh, it sounds like it's going to be a bit of a wet weekend, Kirsty. I'm not loving it. Thank you. And that is your local news for tonight. I'm Nick Hose. Thanks for watching. In just a moment, Dan's got your latest national and international news. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night, and Kirsty and I will see you tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. See you then.